Video is, I don't know why. Okay. Huh.
Sorry, page 15 of which book? Sorry.
The PDF for Moksha Prakashak English. Namo Arihantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airiyanam, Namo Uvachayanam, Namo Loe Savasahunam. Jai Janendra Swamigo. We started Moksha Prakashak last class after the Gandhar, and we will start with the page 15. The topic, I'll share the book also. I'm just trying to figure out, I think there's a way you can see me and the book, and how do you do that? Anybody remembers? I ran into it accidentally and I now can't find how to do that. Let's see.
You just have to share your screen, that's all. At the bottom, the green arrow, right?
No, there's a way. I've seen this now. This is recent, I think. See, before, the person's face would be kind of somewhere up in the corner. Now people, you can see.
There is a stack by something is there. So I try to share it.
Oh, wait, how did this whiteboard come? I didn't mean to.
No, I was trying to play
Oh,
around.
you are doing it. Okay.
So if you click on the share, okay, let me unshare what I was doing. Okay, so if you click on the share, there's options on the right side. There is the content.
Oh, yeah, I see that. So content only as background.
Yeah, and
Okay,
over
I
the
see.
scheduler
So
shoulder, side by side.
If as background, would that be a good idea? Okay, let's try that. And now where is the book? Oops. Oh, I had it open. Why isn't it showing up? Hang on. I must have moved away. Okay. Hang on. Let me. Oh, these things are never easy. Share. There we go. Okay, I have to click on that again. And now click on this. Ah, there we go. That's what we were trying to accomplish. Is that good?
I think side by side would be good, but we have our own books. I mean, yeah, that's fine.
No, I'll just try to scroll every time so that way you can clearly read. Side by side will make it small. That's why I didn't do that. Okay.
You are covering the page in the sense
I
like
should be on the
page
corner. I thought that's what it showed me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in this one, you're not in the corner.
You are
I'm
like
not in the. Oh well. Are you able to see the 2 lines? Purpose of adoration.
Yes.
Or is that covered?
No,
No, that part we can see.
The second page is half of it.
No, it's not yet come. So I'll when I scroll. Okay, so let's start from there. Purpose of adoration. Bahubali ji, you want to start reading?
Yeah.
Okay, so first we understood the Swarup of Arihant, Siddh, and the 3 are sadhu, yet they have some special roles, right? So Acharya, Upadhyaya, and sadhu. You know, if you look at Pratikraman, unke gun, number of gun that are popular are different. But that is not to say that they don't have the sadhu's gun. So Acharya and Upadhyaya will also have sadhu's gun, but the main characteristics will be defined according to their duties. So Upadhyayas will be that Upadhyaya is supposed to be learned of the agams, be able to teach other sadhus. Acharyas will be, they are able to manage the congregation, give prayashchit to sadhus, so they have to have that level. And of course, sadhus are all supposed to be samikdarshi and mean to attain nirvana on the path of moksha. Now, why do you adore them, right? So, who can tell me? We have already done this, right? Where did we do this? Very recently, guys.
Sadhus are in the path of the moksha marga, so they are we can
This
refer.
is for all Panch Parameshti. Let's say even Arihants. Why do we adore them? What is the reason?
Because they are the
Well,
simple human beings like us, and they realize the self and non-self, and then they come out of the
Is it
life
because
cycle.
they uh, for Aryans, there are so many bells and whistles they have, right? The Tirthankar will have the sum of Saran, even Aryans will have special abilities. Is that the reason? I'm just giving you clues.
no, it's more to be like them, to learn, know the characteristics, and hopefully.
No, I'm trying to remind you guys of something we recently
Oh,
read in the
okay.
last semester.
So,
Okay, we did
So-
Devagam Stotra.
Are we talking about Gunstha?
No.
No.
Remember, हमने देवागम स्तोत्र पढ़ा था.
Devagam
Devagam
Stotra,
Stotra, remember it?
Yeah.
It said, "Oh, I don't worship you because of this, and I don't worship you because of this." And then there were stanzas why we worship. That was the whole gist of Devagam Stotra. And this paragraph is going to be similar. That's why I wanted to bring your attention.
Mhm.
And I thought Devagam Stotra was like almost towards the end we read, like not even a month ago. Okay, Bahubali ji, you want to start reading? Thus, in the nature of Arihants.
Thus is the nature of Arantas, etc. It is full of passionlessness with perfect knowledge. By means of that, only the Arantas, etc., are supreme and worthy of invocation and adoration. Because from Jiva Tattva, sentient being, point of view, all Jivas, souls are alike, but because of attachment, etc., psychic maladies and feeble knowledge, Jivas become censurable, and due to lessening of attachment, etc., and increase of knowledge, deserve adoration. So in Aranthas and Siddhas, due to complete absence of attachment, etc., and perfectness of knowledge, the manifestation of absolute passionlessness with perfect knowledge, omniscience is possible. And in Acharyas, Upadhyayas, and Sadhus, that is in all real Digambara Jain monks, due to partial lessening of attachment, etc., and specialty of knowledge, the manifestation of partial passionlessness with discriminative right knowledge is possible. Hence, Arantas, etc., are to be known as supreme, worthy of invocation and adoration. Further, it should be remembered that amongst these Arantas, etc., 5 ranks, mainly Tirthankaras and generally all omniscients are termed Arahanta in Prakrit and Arhat in Sanskrit. And just after the last moment of 14th Gunasthana, stage of spiritual development, the Arhants become Siddhas. Further, those monks who have been installed as Acharyas, irrespective of whether they live in the congregation of monks or solitarily do self-meditation or live
Significantly. See, if you notice, this is not the Chat GPT version, okay? So there are some interesting words that we may have simplified if we had the other.
Solivagently, or might have attained the rank of Ganadhar by getting principalship among the Acharyas also. All of them are called Acharyas. Further, reading and teaching work is done by other monks too, but those on whom Upadhyaya rank of monk is conferred by acharyas. They only, even besides doing the work of self-meditation, etc., get the name of Upadhyaya. And all those monks who do not possess any rank are called sadhus. Here, there is no such rule that acharya's rank is attained or termed by observing
Panchachar.
Panchachara, 5 types of observances. Upadhyaya's rank by doing teaching, preaching, and sadhu's rank by practicing mool gunas, basic rites, because these observances, rites, etc., are common to all monks. But from the Shabdanaya verbal standpoint, their literal meaning is derived from
Sambirunaya.
Samabirudanaya, conventional standpoint, the acharyas, etc., names are to be known by the graduation of ranks only. As for example, by Shabdanaya, that which moves is called the cow. Likewise, the human beings, etc., also make the movement, but from Samabhirudanaya, the names are so given from Paryaya, embodied state, point of view. Similarly, one must understand here also.
Okay, let me explain this. This
Yeah.
is a little confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are different naya, which means that, okay, when you say Shabda Naya, so it doesn't fit here. In Hindi, it says Gaya. Gaya means gaman karne wali, right? Something that can move around. So, because the word Gaya means something that moves, it is exactly defined by its word. So that is called Shabdanaya. Now, the Sambhirudanaya is currently what they are doing. So, current Paryaya, if Acharya is managing the congregation, he is named Acharya. Same thing, Upadhyaya in the current Paryaya, he is still sadhu, he still has all the sadhu ke gun. But because at the moment he is teaching, he is called Upadhyaya. For example, a king, again, this is all better explained with Hindi words. Raja is only Raja at the current moment when he is ruling, not when he's with his wife or he's home, playing with his children. He's father that time. That is how Sambirudnaya works. Okay. Now, the rest of it, I think it was simple, the arihants and all the ranks. And again, another something important to understand is that Acharya and Upadhyaya, those are roles that basically kind of deviate them from their meditation. So before they can advance further, they have to give up those ranks if they want to progress towards moksha. You cannot be holding a rank and go towards moksha. In fact, that's what they say. If you're a big vice president or manager, think about it. Holding ranks is only going to hinder your progress.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
okay, what else? Anything else that you guys didn't understand out of this? And then, of course, the same thing as we learned in the Devagam Stotra, that we worship you because you gave up all the attachments, you gave up, you understood the worldly life, the futileness of worldly life, and wanted to progress further, and those things rather than the outside characteristics.
It says like passionlessness with perfect knowledge. That means omniscience.
Exactly. Yes. So that is the reason we worship you. And the sadhus, because they are on that path.
Partial, yeah.
Right, right. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Question. So what is the reason of offering salutations to Arantas prior to Siddhas? Answer. Salutation is offered with the object of getting our purpose accomplished, and because the purpose of sermons, etc., chiefly gets accomplished from the Arantas. Therefore, the salutation is offered first to them. Thus, the characteristics of Arantas, etc., have been reflected on, because by reflecting on their characteristics, the specific object gets accomplished. Further, these Arantas, etc., are called Panchaparameshti, the five utmost beneficial supreme souls, because that which is utmost beneficial is named as Parameshta. The Pancha five, who are Parameshta, are thus collectively named and called Panchaparameshtis. Further, Rishabha, Ajita, Sambhava, Abhinandan, Sumati, Padmanava, Suparsha, Chandraprabha, Pushpadanta, Sheetal, Shreyansh, Vasupuja, Vimala, Ananta, Dharma, Shanti, Kunta, Ara, Malli, Manisruvata, Nami, Nemi, Parshva, Vardhaman. So named 24 Tirthankaras have been the pioneers of the presently existing Dharma Tirtha, spiritual voyage. In this Bharatakshetra, they are specifically adored by Indras, heavenly gods, etc. During their attaining auspicious occasions of conception, birth, asceticism, omniscience, and salvation, and are now situated in Siddhalaya, the abode of liberated souls at the summit of the universe. I bow to them all.
Mhm.
Further, Simandara, Yugamandara, Bahu, Subhavo, Samjataka, Swayamprabha, Rishabhanana, Anantavirya, Suprabha, Vishalkirti, Vajradhara, Chandranana, Chandrabahu, Bhujangama, Ishwara, Nemi Prabhu, Veerasena, Mahabhadra, Devayush, Astivirya, so named 20 Tirthankaras, who are at present situated with omniscience in Videha Kshetra of Panchamerus, the five highest mounts. I bow to them all. Although these are included in the Parameshti's rank, nevertheless, in the present time, knowing their significance and supremacy, salvation is offered separately.
Can I ask you?
Just
I didn't quite understand this
okay.
part.
Go ahead.
There are 24 Tirthankaras in
Yeah.
Tirthakshetra. They are attained moksha. They are in Siddhalaya. They talk about Mahavidya Kshetra. There is 20 Tirthankaras right now exist. And we
So the ones that were here, remember we celebrate the 2600 some years of Mahavir Nirvan around Diwali time.
Yes.
So
Right.
Mahavir Bhagwan reached Nirvan so many years ago, right? And prior to him, all the 23 Tirthankars as well as him, they have reached moksha, which means now they are in the Siddha category. They are not in the Arihant category anymore.
Right. Mhm.
Now, the current ones, like Simandar Swami, is the most heard of because in the temples they have Simandar Swami's Murti, plus 19 others, are currently in the Mahavidya Kshetra, which means they are with some of Saran, this Divya Dhwani is happening in that area called when we study Jain geography, we'll study about, or maybe we did at some point in Valbodh, we had a little map of, remember the Adai Dweep and Mahavidya Kshetra, where it is and all. If we didn't, it'll come again. So they're currently there. And it is known that Kundakundas Acharya, who wrote some the Paramagams and some other Shastras, he as a sadhu, which not everybody has this ability, but he had this ability where he could make transform his body into a small something that comes out of his body and be able to go to Mahavide Kshetra and live hear a Tirthankar and bring back this knowledge and write these shastras. So it is considered that these are more free of any distortions. The ones that were written by Kundakunda Acharya, as opposed to the ones that are written, even though there's not that many differences, but some there are. The ones that were written after Mahavir Swami, then Sudharma Swami, then Jambu Swami, who was the last. But these were all verbal, right? And then verbal kept going on till a point when acharyas realized that now the memories are fading. So then they started writing. So the way these were original, the other ones were written was that there is so many sadhus or acharyas that got together and whoever could remember whatever. And of course, they tried their best to make it as accurate as possible. If 10 people remember the same thing, then, you consider that as the truth and you write it. But there could still be some minor errors, minor variations. So something to think about. And this because he's considered to have gone there and brought back the knowledge directly from a live Tirthankar is considered little more authentic. Okay.
So,
So
Prabhaji, these Tirthankar are the only ones who will be considered as Arihant right now?
right now, yes. That is just happens to be in this Kal. In general, you can have minimum 20, maximum, I think, is 170 between Bharat Kshetra. So this Mahavide Kshetra is always like fourth Kal, which means there will always be Tirthankars. But Bharat Kshetra and another right opposite of this is called Airavat Kshetra. They will have only in the fourth era. So whenever it's fourth era in Airavat, they will have 24 Tirthankar. Whenever it's fourth era in Bharat Kshetra, we will have 24 Tirthankars like that. So when you add them all up, maximum how many there can be that's the number.
But then can the soul travel from one kshetra to other kshetra if we do
Normally,
punya?
no. Normally, no. You have to have that special ability. Only very highly reached sadhus will have that kind of special ability.
So that's 24 Tirthankars, but the Siddh could be any number?
Okay,
Infinite.
so once they're Tirthankar and their lifespan ends, they become Siddh. Then
But
they're
some
not
may
coming
not,
back.
isn't it like some may not just teach, they may not be Arihants, right? They may.
So once you become Kevali in the 13th
Ah.
good stan, you're bound to be Siddh for sure.
What if you look at the world population, only 24 people become
No.
what's
No,
what is
last
everybody else going to
Think
do?
about this as okay, Viraj. Okay, if you've learned mathematics, the idea of infinity, right?
No, I
Infinite
get that,
souls have gone too
but the
much.
time frame goes,
And
yeah, okay, go ahead.
yes,
Yeah.
still the time frame is so huge, it's almost unimaginable for us. I'm trying to figure out how to explain this. I know Sanjeev Ji Godha had explained this when he came to Pittsburgh one time. And for us, it's hard to understand that how much time span, how big this, that. And he gave a very interesting example. He said, so think about it, this Nigod, right? Who it's called in one breath, they take birth and die. How many times it
18
is?
times. 18
18
times.
times, right? 18 times, right?
Yeah.
So now look at it from their perspective. To them, oh my God, how big is
Yeah,
human
I heard
life?
about it. Yeah, I did hear.
Right?
Yeah, what the
And then same thing for Devta. They live like the amount of time they live. To them, like, oops, I did this and this human was born and dead.
yeah.
So it's all relative.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I was thinking the same thing about onion. Like before onion, we say there is so many jeev in the onion itself, right? So what
right,
is the jeev inside that onion skin? Think of outside us, like
exactly. To them, it's like, I mean, the span is so short. But this is to put in perspective that how short our lifespan is too. For our span, just like the nigod is to us, it's so small that in one breath, 18 times they've like died and taken birth. To devtas, we feel, us, we are like that to them.
The Devatas might
They
be
feel,
feeling like, okay, yeah, they might be feeling like, okay, we are living, we are not able to become Tirthankar. Look at humans, there's so many Tirthankar came and went. They might,
right, even their lifespan, yes.
yeah,
So devtas minimum lifespan is 10,000 and maximum is so many crore, whatever it is, right?
yeah.
So it's when you put it into perspective that how huge the time span is, how huge the universe is. I mean, it's so hard to imagine that even the Bharat Kshetra itself is like a little dot in the map. And then so many other Kshetra. I mean, when you study the Jain geography, the span, the measurements that are given are mind-boggling.
Prabhuji, maybe
But
you need
they
to,
have to be true when you put it in perspective.
Prabhuji, maybe you need to mention also, in 6 months and 8 minutes, there are 608 jivas comes out of Nigoda and
And
608 jivas
608
attains
go
moksha.
right.
Every
And
6 months.
again, remember, Viraj, it's not just the Tirthankars that go to moksha.
Yeah.
Anybody, you and I, don't need to become Tirthankar to go to moksha. We can attain 13th Gunsthan, become Kevli, normal, Sadharan Aryants, anybody who becomes Kevli is called Aryant, and then
Right.
go to moksha. So you don't need to become Aryant. I mean,
Yeah, that's
Tirthankar
what
will
I
be
meant.
only
So
24 that are going to become Siddh.
yeah,
But
no problem, Virajbhai, you still have
before,
chance.
even during Mahavir's time, or remember Rishabh Dev's time, so many of his disciples went to moksha before him.
Yeah. Yes.
But still, it was only 608 in 6 months time span. So same thing from Mahavidya Kshetra, at least in the current times, that's the only place people are able to go to moksha. So from there, even now, every 6 months, 608 people are going to moksha. So a lot of people, when they hear this, they think, oh my God, next thing to wish for is what? To be born in Mahavidya Kshetra. At least I got a chance then to be part of that 608. So, but so that's the way it is.
Okay.
So these are the current, and that is why a lot of people put Simandar Bhagwan. I've heard that geographically he's supposed to be the relatively closer to Earth. I don't know if it makes a difference, but that's why you will see Simandar Bhagwan's murtis in a lot of places. But all 20 are equally Tirthankars. Okay.
I'll read the,
Okay. Nidhi, you want to read now?
or I can finish this one and then.
Okay, go ahead. That's fine.
Yeah.
Finish it.
Further, the naturally existing unartificial, unartificial,
Unartificial
artificial.
idols.
Okay,
Mhm.
further, the naturally existing unartificial idols of Jinas, Arantas.
Okay, just something I want you to bring this to your attention. In this book, because this is not something we have translated, remember the other books were ChatGPT and we
Yeah,
reviewed
easy to
them.
read.
You will find the difference that they've not retained a lot of the words. So this unartificial is considered a krutrim, okay, which is krutrim is man-made, a krutrim is I don't know what word you would use for that ideally. Just
Artificial.
natural. No, man-made is artificial.
Natural.
Now
Lokpratim
one
is
is
natural.
natural. Yeah, it
Natural,
always
yeah.
exists like that. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Idols of Jinnahs that are situated in three lok, which is in the three universe. So go ahead. So we will see these differences, and I need your opinion. So our translation team, what we decided is, as we are reading from these books, if we feel that it would really be better to read a ChatGPT and reviewed version with the proper, some of the words in the actual language and all, we could go ahead and make that effort, just FYI. So if you guys feel that would be better, we can do that. Okay, go ahead, continue.
The naturally existing unartificial idols of Jinas, Arantas, that are situated in Triloka, three worlds of the universe, and the artificial Jinas idols that are installed with ritual ceremony in the middle world, whose darshan, sighting and invocation, etc. only, even without getting any discernible sermon from them, the accomplishment of our benediction takes place as is accomplished by the darshan of Tirthankara Kevali, embodied omniscience. I bow to all these Jinas idols.
Okay,
Further,
I'll tell you why they say this, okay?
yeah.
Okay, so yes, if you are in Samavsaran, actual real Samavsaran, they say that it's easy to get Samyak Darshan. Now, still, they also say Dev Darshan becomes Nimit in Samyak Darshan. And that is why the ritual, a lot of people go to temples, Dev Darshan, before they even eat anything or drink anything in the morning. The reason being, let us say if there was actually a Tirthankar in front of us, he would look very similar to the idol we see today. And the reason being is because, see, our faces, they look different because, or rather change, our faces change because we have feelings, we have rag dvesh, right? So whether we are sad inside, we are happy inside, angry, all that will show on our face. Bhagwan's face does not reflect that because the rag dvesh has gone, attachment has gone. He's not using the five senses, right? He's now knowing from his Atma, not from the eyes, right? We are seeing from our eyes. So our eyes blink, our eyes turn, all that happens. Tirthankar, none of that happens. He's very similar to a statue.
No, it's very, very, I'd never thought about in that context. Yeah.
Yes, because there is no attachment, rag, dvesh, and he's not using his five senses. So whether you see a live Tirthankar or you see the Murti, it would be very similar.
Wow.
So next time you do darshan, just remember what we are seeing is this non-attached person who does not even need his indriyas to know.
Okay,
Go
next.
ahead.
Further, the Anga Prakiranakas, the sacred scriptures containing omniscience commandments created by Ganadharas according to the sermons given in the Divyadvani, omniscience preachings, and according to those Anga Prakiranakas, the Granthas, sacred books written by other Acharyas, etc. All those are Jinnavachanas, omniscience preachings, which are worth recognizing through the emblem of Sadvad, the theory of relative or conditional prediction, and are non-contradictory to path of justice, therefore are authentic and are the cause of Tattva Jnana, true knowledge of substance for jivas, therefore are beneficial. I bow to them. Further, the Chaityalaya, Jinnah's temple, Arika, Jain nun, Shravaka, the right faith householder of the highest vows and rank, etc., substances, dravyas. The Tirtha Kshetra, that is sacred pilgrim places, etc., lands, Kshetra, the Kalyanaka Kalas, Kalyanaka Kalas, benedictory periods, etc., periods, kalas, and Ratnatraya, right faith, knowledge, and conduct, etc., pure dispositions, bhavas, which are worth saluting. I bow to all of them, and I pay due respect to them, also who deserves some respect. Thus, the invocation is done by giving due respect to our benefactors. Now we discuss as to how these arantas, etc., are the benefactors. The purpose, objective, is the name of the act or deed due to which happiness is obtained and misery is ended, and that by means of which the accomplishment of the purpose takes place is our benefactor. Presently, obtaining the passionless discriminative knowledge is the purpose, because by means of that imperturbable real happiness is attained, and all sorrows and miseries which are full of perplexities are ended.
So see what they're saying is, so what are worth adoring? So because we get to see darshan of Tirthankars in the temple, Chaitya Jaina temples are also worth worshipping. Arika, which is the Jain nun, female, Shravak, the ones who have Samyak Darshan, and with the highest vows and ranks, etc. Dravyas and Tirtha Kshetras, sacred pilgrimages or Kshetras, and Kalyana Kals, benefactory periods, etc. Periods of Kalas and Ratnatraya, right faith. I mean, we know Samyak Darshan, Gyan, and Charitra, pure bhavs, which are worth saluting. So I bow to all of them. So now we understand why we start our class with the Naukar mantra, right? And in our hearts, we should also have the ahobhav for all the Samyagdarshti jivas in the universe, as well as the kshetras where the tirthankars or arihants that went to moksha. So that is the importance of all the tirtha kshetra, like Samak Chikarji, Palitana, all the ones that we talk about. So, this goes hand in hand with, let's say somebody is a musician, right? What will he do? He will go to the best person who is the best player of that music. You know how they, or for example, football, right? Why is Football Hall of Fame made? Because whatever you want to do, you want to worship the ones who have already attained what you want to do. So, okay, very nice. Okay, next, somebody wants to start reading accomplishment of purpose.
Nidhi, I think you asked Nidhi.
Go ahead, yeah. By the way, is anybody needing the one I'm sharing? Otherwise, I can stop share if everybody has their own open.
I have one open.
Okay, so nobody's saying, so I can just stop sharing and I can just look at mine. Then that way you're not distracted.
Accomplishment of purpose from Arhantas, etc. Further, the accomplishment of this purpose takes place by the invocation, etc., of Arhants, etc. How does it take place? This is being discussed. The dispositions of the soul are of three types: cruel, inauspicious, ingenious, auspicious, and pure, passionless. The instincts in the form of intense passion are cruel, in the form of mild passion are ingenious, and passionless are pure. The destroyer of our natural character of the form of passionless discriminative knowledge are the jnana varna, etc., ghati karmas, knowledge, etc., obscuring karmas. Their intense bondage occurs by cruel instinct and feeble bondage by ingenious instinct. And if the ingenious instincts are strong, then the intense bondage that had occurred in the past also gets feeble. No bondage is caused by pure passionless dispositions, rather, only disassociation, nirjara, of those karmas takes place. The dispositions of invocations to arhantas, etc., are assuredly of the nature of feebled passions. Those are therefore the ingenious instincts. Moreover, they are the means of destroying all sorts of passions, therefore are the cause of pure passionless disposition. So, by such instincts, the self-obscuring ghati karmas become feeble and the passionless discriminative knowledge gets naturally evolved. The extent to which it becomes feeble, to the same extent or degrees, this gets evolved. Thus, our purpose is accomplished by arhantas, etc.
Okay,
On
let's
the
understand this a little bit. So, three types of dispositions, right? So, this is about our bhav, right? We can have very impure, very cruel thoughts, right? In Hindi, it's called Sanklesh Parinam, which means uh, anger, greed, pride to its maximum, right? Then auspicious, which means somewhat purer, right? Which is like calm personality, not as much agitated person, that type of. And then pure. So those are the three types of uh, passions or basically dispositions a person would have. Now, what they're saying is that if you are in the cruel passion times, you will not even be in the position to be able to want to hear anything about the soul or do anything. At least you would need to be in the state where your passions are mild. And then only you'll be able to go to at least the Shuddha types, right? So they're saying that when you are in that milder form, that is when you are able to understand the discriminative knowledge, and your Jnana karma are also a little bit reduced at the time. So you feel like learning, understand about soul. And all the ghati karmas, right? Which is knowledge, obscuring, darshaniya, monia, all those, okay? And monia is this feeble bondage. And if the monia are strong, then the intense bondage that had occurred in the past also gets feebled. No bondage is caused by pure passionless disposition. So we know that, right? In the meditative state, when the person is within the soul, that time there's no bondage, no karma is getting attached. And the ones that are already there, nirjara is happening during that state. But the in-between state, both are happening. The karmas are going, karmas are also getting bounded. Okay, anything else you didn't understand out of this paragraph? So basically what they're saying is that, and I think I've discussed this before. So if you are, whenever you are in this mild passion state, right, you are doing the Vishuddha Chije, Swadhyay, Puja, lot of these. So you will read it in the second chapter more, that your karmas that you already have in the satta, some of the bad ones have the ability to change to the good. Pap karma can convert to punya karma before they come to uday. So, and then we'll read more details about it. There are only certain types that cannot be changed, but a lot of them can be changed. So that is why it is not given that because you've bound the karmas, you always have to bear the fruits of it. And then we also learned that even if you get the circumstances as a fruit of your karmas, still how we can deal with it. Okay, let's continue reading.
Or the acts like looking, sighting at the image of Arhantas, or pondering over their nature, or listening to their preaching, revelation, or being closer to them, or following the path according to their preaching, instantly reduce the delusion, attachment, etc., by becoming instrumental causes and give rise to discriminative knowledge of jina, jiva, soul, ajiva, non-soul, etc. Therefore, in this way also, the purpose of passionless discriminative knowledge gets accomplished by arhantas, etc. Here, someone may say that, well, such objectives get fulfilled by them, but that by which the sensual pleasure evolves and misery ends, such objective is also achieved by them or not? Answer. The ingenious instincts of the form of invocation, etc., towards arhantas, etc., cause the bondage of sata, etc., pleasure-producing type of aghati, non-obscuring karmas. And if those instincts are powerful, then they reduce the asata, etc., misery-producing types of karmas bonded in the past, or by destroying, converts them into punya, the pleasure-producing types of karma, and on rise of that punya auspicious karma, the objects causing sensual pleasure become available on their own, and on removal of the rise of papa, inauspicious karma, the objects causing misery vanish automatically.
Okay, I need a favor, guys. I was afraid of doing this. I thought I had this book saved on my computer. Evidently not. And I should have just let it be shared because I was reading from my whatever I had open and I accidentally turned it off. So can somebody please share it again on the group? I can't
Yeah.
find it.
Okay.
Oh, maybe I did find it. I just found it. So don't worry. It's okay. I just got it. I thought I had saved it, but somehow didn't work. Yeah, I didn't save it because it was on a Google Drive. Okay, just give me a second. But I sort of have already explained this paragraph to you guys that the all these auspicious things do make your karmas what do you call pratikul versus anukul. So you get better results. But what they're saying is don't do this for that purpose, even though that's a side benefit. But your goal is not to, if let's say you were going to get ill, now maybe your illness may not last as much. But that will be kind of like throwing a diamond in place of where you needed to throw a stone. Even though this may naturally happen, that's okay. But to try to do auspicious things to attain that is not a good idea. So basically, that is what is explained in this paragraph. Okay. Okay, tell me the page number again.
We're on
We're on 18th.
18th. Okay.
18th
On the
beginning
right page
and
now.
second.
Yeah, okay.
Second paragraph.
I am seeing purpose of Manglacharan. That is somehow 18.
Yeah, in that page only. So we are
Oh,
still
we are
on top.
before
to
that.
come
Okay,
there.
got it. All right.
Yeah,
Okay,
second
continue
paragraph.
reading now. Yeah.
Yeah.
In this way, this purpose is also attained through them, or devas, celestial beings who are devotees of Jin Shasan, omniscience, rules. They make the objects of sensual pleasure available to that devotee and remove the objects of misery. In this way also, this purpose is attained through those arhantas, etc. But by this purpose, no good of the self, soul, takes place, because due to passional emotions,
Passion emotions.
the passional emotions, everything, the soul makes conjectures of happiness, unhappiness by considering the external object good or bad. Without passions, the external objects do not cause any pleasure or pain. and all pleasures are full of misery. Therefore, desiring for sensual pleasures and fearing from miseries is nothing but fallacy. Further, for this purpose, even adoring arhantas, etc., being intense passion, causes bondage of inauspicious karmas, papa bandha. Soliciting this purpose is not desirable for us. By adoration of arhantas, etc., such purposes are automatically accomplished. Thus, arhantas, etc., are paramishta, the utmost beneficial for us. Further, those arhantas, etc., only are the supreme auspice, mangal, and having adoration, invocation, feeling in them causes great auspice. Mang means happiness, lati means bestows, or mam means sins, galyati means melts away. That is called mangal or spice. Thus, as mentioned above, both purposes are accomplished by them. Therefore, supreme auspiciousness is possible in them.
Okay. So here what they're doing is, so, okay, remember when we read the Raksha Bandhan story? The one who had argued, and then that mantri who was that guy, he tried to open the sword on him and he got frozen.
Yeah.
So some devtas basically helped do that because of this sadhu's, good auspicious karmas or whatever, right? Now, what they're saying is that when we hear stories like that, oh, I mean, a lot of times happens to us also. Oh, we thought, it has happened to me. You're trying to merge and somehow you didn't see this 18-wheeler just pass right by and my God, you just got saved, right? You get those feelings once in a while. So, but that is not the reason to worship arhantas. So they are like, when you go to the temple, don't get that feeling that because of I'm doing swadhyaya, I'm doing puja. And honestly, a lot of peoples will say that. And not only say that, in pujas, you will hear people preaching that you do this puja. And, I've heard this Maina Sundari story, there's this Siddha Chakra puja. And people will actually say that her husband got saved and whatever happened. And then you'll see people standing up and saying, no, I did this Siddha Chakra puja and we had this disease and it got solved. It's not, I mean, there's a slight possibility that Devi Devtas could have helped. But think about it, that you lost all that good karmas you did for this minor little benefit, as versus progressing towards pureness of your soul. So basically, they're recommending that we should know what to not ask for, basically. Yes. Okay. Anybody else wants to start reading the next topic?
Yeah, I can read.
Okay.
Purpose of observing benediction, Mangalacharan. Here someone asks, what is the purpose of benediction? Right in the beginning of the book. Contemplating the book happily without any disturbance due to rise of evil, pap. Karmas is the object of performing benediction, Mangalacharan in the beginning. The people of other faiths question, the people of other faiths who do not make obeisance like this, in their case also, the completion of book and non-occurrence of disturbance is seen. How is it so? Answer, the people in other faiths who write books, they, due to rise of intense delusion, keep self-contradictory words and meanings in them, which nourish the erroneous faith and passion instincts. Hence, its completion without disturbance is possible even without such options. If by such options delusion becomes feeble, how would then such contradictory work be accomplished? And I'm also writing this book by virtue of feeble passion. I'll keep right in the word nourishing the passionless science of the tattvas, essential principles. Its disturbance-less completion is possible only by performing such an obscience. If such an obscience is not done, then the intensity of delusion will persist. How would then such a noble act be possible?
So you
Further, he
see,
says, well,
here what he's saying is he's giving the contradiction, right? So if you're writing, let's say, a novel or something, right? That is already a mithyatvi thing to write. So those things anyway get done without any hindrances. But he's saying that I'm doing this Mangalacharan, that I am being mild passion person. I am trying to write this book for the benefit of others who are even less uh, buddhi than me, that I want that I don't get delusioned at any point and be able to keep my passions low enough and write this book properly. So, on one hand, he's saying people writing that are already delusioned, those don't even need this Mangalacharan in some ways. But I am hoping that my focus, my passions, my focus doesn't deviate, my passions don't rise. All that is needed for me to finish this book.
Okay.
Or actually Samantrai, which happened actually in Todamalji's case. Right? We discussed that.
Yes.
Todamalji got killed before
Killed
finishing
it,
his
yeah,
book.
yeah.
Yes. So, okay.
Okay, if I go further, he says, well, this is acceptable, but who does not perform such options is also seen to be happy. The rise of sinful karmas is not seen, and someone who performs such options in him, also happiness is not seen. Rather, a rise of sinful karmas is found. Therefore, how is the aforesaid auspiciousness possible?
So now you see how he's saying, like, if you think about it, right? Todamalji is such a learned person, he's written so good books, everything, and he gets this fruit of like being killed. And then there are so many other people we see, people doing bribery, corruption, who appear to be rich and famous and whatever, whatever. So, kind of, that's the question, that how does that happen? So let's read.
The cruel, intense, and ingenious mild instincts of jivas are of many types. The karmas bounded by them in the past and different times rise at one time. Therefore, for example, one who had accumulated a lot of wealth in the past is found possessing wealth without earnings and is not seen in debt, and one who had taken a lot of debt in the past is found indebted even while earning wealth, and wealth is not seen. But on thinking, one finds that earning is always a cause of wealth only and not debt. Similarly, the one who has bounded a lot of auspicious karmas in the past, he is seen possessed by happiness even without performing such obscenence, and rise of sinful karmas is not seen. And the one who had bounded a lot of sinful karmas in the past, he is not seen possessed by happiness even after performing such obscenence, and rise of sinful karmas are seen, but on thinking, one finds that performing of such obscenence is assuredly the cause of happiness, and not the rise of sinful karmas. Thus, the auspiciousness of aforesaid obscenence is established. Again, he says this is
So you
this
see,
too.
yeah, go ahead. This too is accepted.
Yeah, again, he says this too is accepted. But why? The devas, celestial beings, who are the devas of Jin Shashan, did not help the one who observed the obscenence and did not punish the one who did not observe the obscenence.
Okay. So you see, so I'm assuming you understood the paragraph, that today, let us say, and we see this all the time, right? So some family is very religious, doing all the right things, and then you will notice that maybe their child becomes, you know, killer or something really bad, right? And people wonder, oh my God, the family is so good. Why did this happen and all this thing, right? Or the other example where corrupt people are seen to be happy, enjoying life, having a lot of money. On the other hand, somebody, let's say, is a pandit, giving all this knowledge to people, yet he may be living in poverty. That can happen. So then people wonder, वो तो इतना धर्म करते हैं, why then he is not living? So number one, the Pandit who understands this philosophy, inside he is not sad, he's happy. Number two, the person who is appearing to be happy just because he has more wealth through corruption or whatever, is only bearing the fruits of his previous karmas. As soon as those are finished, then bad times are to be coming. So whenever we get, challenges in our lives, that is where it takes that understanding, because a lot of people, they're okay, calm down, as long as not much adverse situations comes to them. As soon as something very adverse comes, then people start getting agitated, and and sometimes you will see in the movies or Hindu dharma that they start bickering on the god. Oh, I worshipped you all these years, and why am I getting this fruit? Why did my child get taken away from me after worshipping you for so many years? So this makes you understand that no, I mean, this is your own doing in the past, which has given you this karmas, but don't get deviated from the good things that you're doing today. Because if you do, you're only, putting a hammer on your own foot.
Mhm.
So something to give. I mean, in Todarmalji's case, let's say he was doing all this great work. Still, there were people who went against him. They talked bad about him against him to the king, and made him, get killed. He did not have any problem with it, because he knew that this is my past karmas coming to fruition. Even the elephant that was killing him stopped. He didn't want to kill. And he told him, no, this is my karmas. You are just doing me a favor by letting that karmas go away. It's not your fault. So you just do your duty. So something to make us feel at peace, at calm whenever we get adverse situations, that we get, wonder why it's happening to me. I'm doing all the right things. So, okay, go ahead. And also
Okay.
then they bring about the point, like we said in the Raksha Bandhan, the Devas help the sadhu, right? So then they're like,
Right.
okay, why don't the Devas help all these good people? And then they help the bad
Mm.
people sometimes, right? So let's read the answer.
The answer. The predominant factor of jivas getting pleasure and pain is the rise of their own karmas. According to that only external instrument causes are met with, so the ones whose sinful karmas are in rise, operative state, does not get help rendering cause, and the ones whose pious, auspicious karmas are in the rise, operating state, does not get the punishment rendering the cause.
Mhm.
How such instrumental cause is not met with is explained below. The Devas, celestial beings, can not know everything simultaneously due to Shayob Shama Gnan, destruction comes subsidence type of knowledge. Hence, knowing of the person observing obscience and the one not observing obscience takes place rarely to some celestial beings. So they do not know them. How would they help or punish? And if they know them, then it is their Deva's passion is extremely feeble. Then the instinct of helping or punishing does not rise. And if the passion be intense, then religious feelings cannot rise. And if the passion for involvement in such act be of average degrees, and one may not have power, then what can he do? In this way, the instrumental cause of rendering help or giving punishment does not materialize.
So
If
there are
one has
so many reasons that have to come
play,
together in order
Mm.
for even the devas to help,
Yeah.
which happens every so often, but that's not something you can count on, basically, is what they're saying.
Mhm. If one has a capacity and due to rise of passion of average order has compassionate feelings also, and in such states he should also be knowing pious, impious form of duty towards the jiv. Then some celestial
jiv.
beings, some other towards other jivs, yeah. Then some celestial being, etc., help some pious fellow or punish some impious fellow. Thus, there is no set rule of such action. It is to be understood here that the desire of being happy, not being miserable, seeking help, creating trouble, all that is full of passion, is painful instantly as well as in future. Therefore, discarding such desire of being aspirant of passionless science only, I have observed obedience to Arihant, etc., in the form of invocation, etc.
This last paragraph, you guys underline it because it basically gives the gist that basically that desire of being happy, not being miserable, seeking help, creating trouble, all that is what kashai, right? That's all passion and is painful instantly as well as in future. Therefore, discard those kind of desire. Understand. So, like, that in even for Vyavhar, I tell everybody that no matter how mean somebody is to do, never wish bad for them or never react. So once you understand and believe in the philosophy that nobody can do really harm to me, it's only me, my own doing, my own karmas, which I'm the one who bound them in the past, that you don't even get the feeling of dvesh bhav towards others. And that is the right way to progress further, right? So you've already eradicated all the negatives from your system. Right now, you are not being like angry, wishing mean for people, feeling self guilt, and all those feelings go away. You understand the way things are happening. Whatever happens to you, you're able to accept it. And even things that are not happening good, you take it, you still don't react as much or as bad. Things still happen. We're still, the rag dvesh is there. But at least, even if, let's say, you reacted, you would not give it the stamp that I did right. You will know that if I reacted badly, cursed someone, I was at fault. So at least you've not given it the stamp of Shraddha. The reaction can happen, but the belief should be right that I'm not right in doing that. So basically, they're saying that all these ichhas should not be there. कि किसी का बुरा हो जाए, मेरा भला हो जाए. That is not the reason to study all this. To study all this is to get into the vitrag bhav, to get out of all this rag and dvesh. Okay. All right. So somebody else wants to take the next topic? Arunji, you want to read?
You're still on mute, huh, Arun?
Yeah,
Yeah, now you're, yeah.
going back to my screen, which has sorry. Okay. Authenticity of this book and scriptural tradition. After such obeisance, the meaningful book named Moksha Marg Prakashak is being written. Therefore, proving and establishing the fact that this book is authentic, the old tradition is being followed and explained thus. A, etc. alphabetic letters are eternal and not created by anybody. Writing of their shapes is of many types, as per one's will, but the spoken alphabets are always found used alike everywhere. Therefore, it is said, the meaning of this is that the group tradition of alphabets is self-existent and created by those alphabets are the words which render true meaning of the objects. The name of their group is the Shuddha scripture, so that is eternal. As Jiva, this is an eternal word. It indicates the Jiva, the soul substance. Thus, there are various words capable of rendering their own true meaning. The group of those words is to be known as Shrut, the scripture. Further, as the pearls are self-existent, out of those, someone taking a few pearls, someone taking many pearls produces the ornaments by arranging them in a way he likes. Similarly, the words are self-existent. Out of those, someone taking a few words, someone taking many words produces the book by arranging them in the way he likes. Here I'm also going to create a book by arranging those words conveying true meanings as per my knowledge. I'm not going to keep in this book the words conveying the false meaning imagined by me. Hence, this book is authentic.
So
Question.
basically, what he's saying here is that letters already existed, right? They are Pudgal, they come together in their own way, right? Now, but Jeev is eternal word and it indicates the soul substance. So that bhav behind it, that I have given that. And there are various words capable of rendering their own true meaning. The group of those words is to be known as Shrut, which is the scriptures. Further, so they're basically saying that, he's trying to be giving up his karta bhav, that I didn't do anything, the words came together, they became scripture, and all I have is the bhav. And everything just happens by itself, is what he's trying to indicate. And then because the bhav is right and the book is authentic. So, and he's saying that my bhav is not to, show anybody or anything. And he'll further explain why he's writing this book. So he's basically first clarifying his intention. Obviously, I'm not going to keep this book, the words conveying false meaning imagined by me. So it's all authentic from other shastras, is what he's trying to say. Okay, go ahead.
Question. How does the tradition of those words exist up to the creation of this book? Answer. Since eternity, Kevali Tirthankars are being found, they know each other and everything. Hence, they know those words and their meaning also. Further, through Divya Dhvani, revelation of those omniscient Tirthankars, such discourses are found by virtue of which other Jeeves, capable souls, attain the knowledge of words and their meaning. According to that, Gandhar Devas, head Acharya monks, create the Granthas, sacred books, in the form of Ang Prakirnakas. And according to those books, other acharyas prepare various types of books. Some people study them, some narrate them, some listen to them. Thus, the traditional path continues. Now, in this Bharat Kshetra, presently, the Ausatne Kala is prevailing. During this time, 24 Tirthankaras were born. Amongst them, Sri Vardhaman Swami was the last Tirthankar. He, being omniscient, preached Jivas, all living beings, through the medium of Divya Dhvani, divine speech. Through the instrumentality of opportunity of listening to it, the Gandhar Acharya named Gautam, having known its subtle and intricate meaning, composed the Anga Prakirnakas, sacred books, out of compassionate feelings. Thereafter, the Vardhaman Swami attained salvation. After some time in this fifth era, 3 Kevalis, omniscients, were found: Gautam, Sudharma Acharya, and Jambu Swami. Therefore, due to bad times, occurrence of omniscience stopped, but for some time, Shrut Kevalis, the knowers of all 12 Angas, that is complete scripture, were available, and thereafter their availability also came to an end. Further, for some time, more the knowers of few Angas only were found. Later on, their availability too came to an end. Therefore, the Acharyas wrote scripture sacred books on the basis of scriptures written by Anga knowers. In this tradition, more scriptures were written and their prevalence continued. In them also, due to bad times, many book granthas were destroyed by wicked persons, and due to discontinuance of study, the important books granthas were lost. But some of the great granthas are still found. Because of feeble knowledge, their study became difficult. For example, in South India near Gomat Swami Shravan Belgola in Moodbidri town near Mangalore, the Dwala, Mahadwala, Jayadwala, etc. granthas are existing but are available for adoration, darshan only. However, many other granthas which are still available are within the reach of our knowledge for study, but amongst them too only a few granthas are being studied. Thus, in these bad times, the highest Jaina religion underwent the state of downfall, but through this tradition, even now in Jaina Shastras, sacred books of Jains, the existence of words conveying true meaning is continuing.
Okay, so basically, he's giving us the history of how things, the books and the knowledge came into being. So, what we have today is a very small fraction of what was conveyed in the Divya Dhwani. Still, it is enough to attain Samyak Darshan. Now, the Dhavla, Jay Dhavla that he mentioned, actually, I've been to Mudbidri and those places, and I've seen those original scriptures. So there are still some scriptures that have not been translated. They are in some type of Kannada language, which is not very popular right now. There's very few people that know that language anymore. But there are organizations that are doing that work of translating from that Kannada to different languages. They are also now scanning them into computer so that slowly, they can more efficiently translate those books. This Dhavla, Jay Dhavla that he mentioned now has been translated by somebody we met in Mumbai, Ujjwala Shah. She's a very brilliant lady and understands very good. So she took that and has, I think, written basically commentaries on those books. So work is being done. People are trying to save as much as possible. But that is what brings importance to this book, that Todarmalji has studied so many granths and put its nectar, its summarization, everything that is prayojan bhut, purposeful into this book. And that is the reason Dr. Bharil's PhD was on Todarmalji, and he also named his Smarak, the institution, on Pandit Todarmal Trust, I guess it's called. So it's just something to understand that how great this is. So, okay, go ahead, continue reading.
A word about this book. Here in this era, I've got human birth. In this birth, I developed interest in study of Jain Shastras, owing to my past religious impressions and present good luck, due to which, after studying in general the useful books on grammar, logic, mathematical science, etc., I've been studying as per my intellect and understanding of the following various Shastras, sacred books with their commentaries. Samay-sar, Panchashteka, Pravachan-sar, Niyam-sar, Tattva-sutra, etc. That is Shastras of Dravyani Yoga, the metaphysics. Gomat-sar, Labdhi-sar, Trilok-sar, Shapan-sar, the Shastras of Karnal Yoga, etiology. Purusharth, Siddhyopaya,
Bye.
Ashtapaudaya, Atmanushashan, etc., and books describing the code of conduct laid for Shravaks, householders, and Munis, naked, passionless monks, the Shastras of Charnanu Yoga, that is ethology, and 4 mythological scriptures containing stories of brave personage leading to salvation path, that is Shastra or Pratmana Yoga. By virtue of that, I too have attained some knowledge of true words with their true meanings. Moreover, in this bad period of downfall, many people are seen possessing knowledge poorer than my feeble knowledge. They too may obtain the knowledge of these words with their meaning, keeping this point in view. I made up my mind to write this book in spoken language out of compassionate feeling. This is the reason for writing this book. In this book also, same words with their true meanings are interpreted. The only specialty that, as in the Prakrit Sanskrit books, the word sentences are written in Prakrit Sanskrit. Similarly, here I am writing in country spoken language, either with Aprabhansh or with
Approach or with their
or
exact.
their exact form, but there is no adulteration in the meaning of the words. Thus, the tradition of those true words exists up to this book also.
So, how nicely he has explained that first he is being so humble. Imagine how many shastras he has read, understood, and given us this gist through this very simply written book. And what he's then saying is that even I myself is not as intelligent. I'm also mandabuddhi. But there are even weaker people than me who are even less intelligent than me. So for their benefit, I'm writing this book. So how thankful we should be to him. And then, of course, the person who translated this for us in English. Right. So
Negation of writing false words. Someone asked here, we have known in this way the tradition, but how could we believe that in this tradition only the right words with their exact meanings were written and were not intermingled with false words? Answer. Composing of false words is not possible without intense passion, because due to such false composition by which many jivas may be badly harmed traditionally, and as a consequence of such a great injury, the self will have to go to hellish and nigod, inferiorest one sense beings, and undergoing 18 times birth and deaths in one respiration. Form of life, such a great sinful act is possible only on being empowered by the intense anger, pride, deceit, and greed passions. But in Jain religion, such a highly passionate person does not take birth. The first basic preceptor, Tirthankar, Kevali, the omniscient, is free from all passions due to complete annihilation of moha, delusion, and attachment, etc. Next originators of Shastras are Gandhars and Acharyas, who, because of feeble rise of moha karma, attachment, have forsaken all sorts of external and internal passions, hence are extremely dispassionate. Owing to presence of feeble passion in them, they are found possessed with somewhat proclivity of Shubhopayoga, auspicious thought activity, and no other purpose is found. And if the right faith Shravaks householders also compose the Shastras, they too not are highly passionate. If they had intense passion, how could they cultivate interest in Jainism, which is the destroyer of all sorts of passions by all means? Or if someone owing to the rise of perverse faith nourishes the passions by other temporal deeds, he may do so by going against Jaina's preaches maxims. If he nourishes one's passions, he loses Jain identity. Thus, in Jainism, such a highly passionate person is not found, who shall, by composing false words, spoil others as well as his own lot in his birth and the births hereafter. Should I continue?
Yeah, so did you guys understand what he's trying to now here? We read this, remember when we understood the why we worship Arihants and all that, right? That there is no reason why we would have anything. But actually, I did explain to you if you guys can recollect. Why do we accept the word of Arihants versus anybody else? What were the reasons? What is missing in them that makes it authentic? There was two things, remember? We talked about. In today's time, when is somebody not speaking the perfect truth? What are the main reasons?
Maybe they don't know it, or they haven't gone
Don't
through the
know.
whole
Agyan is
yeah.
one reason. Yes.
They
What
haven't
else?
they haven't had the experience, they have not reached the
That's
level.
all. That's all
They don't
Agyan.
know.
And
Okay.
then what
Free
is
from
the other
passion.
reason? You purposely don't tell the truth. Why would you do that?
Oh, that is more dvesh, right? If
More rag.
purposely go more rag,
And
right?
both are missing in Aryans. Agyan nahi hai because they are Sarvagya and they are Vitaragi. And that is why we believe their words to be authentic. So he's giving the same reason that first of all, this knowledge came from Arihants, right? Then me being mild passioned, or anybody that is mild passioned, would not want to do this because the consequence will be very bad. If let's say even though I'm doing such a minute job of explaining something that somebody's written, still let's say if I don't know meaning of a correct meaning of some words, chal jayega, it's okay. If I don't know the accuracy of certain things, wahan tak bhi chal jayega. As long as I don't take you towards the reverse direction, instead of Vitrakta, if I take you towards Rag Bhav, if I take you towards unethical, then they're saying, what are the fruits of that? That you get the Janam of Nigod, where you're taking birth 18 times in one respiration, right? How bad it is to take people towards passion. So he's explaining why he wouldn't do any of that. And so basically, only with mild passion, one is able to do this, write about dharma, preach dharma, and all that. So only if someone owning to the rise of preserved faith nourishes the passions by other temporal deeds, he may do so, but by going against Jinnah's preacher's maxim, if he nourishes one's passion, he loses the Jain identity. But doesn't matter about the identity, but one has to worry about their own karmas and their fruits that only they will have to bear. Right? And that something that bad, one can only do it if, remember in the previous pages, we read the three types of kashai, right? Sanklesh, the extreme ones, mild, and then the pure ones. So one wouldn't do that unless they are in that Sanklesh category. So thus in Jainism, such a highly passionate person is not found who shall, by composing false words, spoil others as well as his own lot in this birth and the birth there hereafter. So he's giving some very good valid points that why whatever he's writing is authenticated knowledge to the best of his knowledge, of course. Okay, let's continue.
Negation of writing false words. Someone asks here, we have known in this way the tradition, but how could we believe that in this tradition only the right words with their exact meaning were written and were not intermingled with false words? Answer. Composing of false words is not possible without intense passion, because due to such false composition by which many jivas may be badly harmed traditionally, and as a consequence of such great injury, the self will have to go to hellish and Nigod, inferiormost one sense undergoing that's one respiration. Form of life.
Are you reading this again, or am I?
Yeah, I don't know what.
Yes.
I thought I just explained this.
Yeah.
The next.
So you explained ahead of time, I think.
Sorry.
No, it's been read already, so it's repeating.
You
Yeah,
already read
my
that,
apologies.
Arunji.
So I lost the place where I was actually then.
Yeah.
Go down to the question. If someone so called.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's correct.
Someone so-called Jaina under the influence of intense passion mixes false words in Jain Shastras, and then his tradition continues. What to do in such cases? Answer. If someone mixes artificial pearls in the ornament of real pearls, but the shine does not match, so by examining it, the examiner does not get cheated. Also, except the ignorant ones who get cheated in the name of real pearls, and his tradition also does not continue, soon someone starts disapproving the artificial pearls. Similarly, in the Jain Shastras, which are a collection of true words, someone may intermix false words, but the purpose shown in the words of Jain Shastra is of uprooting the passion and of reducing worldly affairs. And the false words which are mixed by that sinful person serve the purpose of nourishing the passions and accomplishing the worldly affairs. Thus, the purpose does not match. Therefore, after examination, the wise person is not cheated. The ignorant alone gets cheated by name of Jain Shastra, and his tradition also does not continue. Rather, someone immediately contradicts the false words. The other aspect is that such highly passionate or so-called Jains are found here in this bad time only. Many good regions and periods are there wherein such people are not found. Therefore, it should be understood that in Jain Shastras, the tradition of false words does not continue. Further, he asks that one may not mix false words out of passion, but since the scripture writer possess Tribe Samgyan, therefore, if due to miscomprehension someone mixes wrong words, then his tradition may continue? Answer. The basic scripture composers are Gandhar Devas, chief acharyas. They themselves possess 4 kinds of knowledge, and they listen to omniscient divine speech Divyadvani directly by virtue of its glory. The right meaning only is comprehended, and accordingly they compose the Shastras. Therefore, how can the false words be entwined in those Shastras? And the other acharyas, etc., who compose the Shastras, they all possess the right knowledge as per their capacity, and they compose the Shastras by following the tradition of original scriptures. Moreover, they do not compose those words which are not known to them, and compose only those words which are well comprehended by them with the authenticity of right knowledge. So first, by taking such due precautions, the false words are not intermixed, and sometimes if they themselves have miscomprehended the meaning of words of original text, and also it may appear to be right in their knowledge, then there is no escape. But this happens with someone rarely and not with all. Therefore, those who have comprehended it rightly, they by negating the same do not allow the wrong traditions to continue. Further, let it be known that the right faith Jains do not have misconception about Dev Guru Dharma and Jiva Jiva, etc. Tattvas by the misconception of which Jivas become miserable. These are prominently described in Jain Shastras, and there are some such deep meaning which may even be misconceived under illusion. But because of faith in omniscience, preaches there will be no spiritual harm to Jiva. If out of them someone draws wrong conclusions about some subtle meanings, even then it is not his great mistake. The same is said in Gomatsara. Smatis jivo yuvitam peyanam tu
Let me
sadadi.
try to read this.
Yeah.
Samaiti jivo uvaitam pava yanam tu sad hadi. Sadhadi asabhavam ajanamano guruni yoga. Okay, this
The
is
right-
from 26th verse of Jeev Kand.
Meaning, the right believer, Samyak Drashti Jiva, believes in the preached true words, and sometime under the instruction of an ignorant teacher believes also in the wrong words. Moreover, I also do not possess vast knowledge, but I am very much afraid of going against the omniscience preaches. Due to the strength of this concept only, I am daring to write this book. So in this book also, I shall be describing the tattvas exactly in the same way in which they are described in the old text. Or if at some places in the old books the description is unelaborated and deep, as I shall describe the same here elaborately. In describing in this manner, I shall remain very careful. But even besides taking all due precautions, if at some places something deeper in meaning gets misinterpreted, it is my humble request to intellectual savants to correct the same properly. In this way, I have decided to write this Shastra. Now, what types of Shastras are worth reading and listening, and what kind of discourses and listeners of those Shastras should be there, the same is described here.
Okay. So, I mean, how nicely he has explained how he thought of writing this, the authenticity, he's at least talking from his point of view, how best he has done to keep it as authentic as possible. Now, he also said that in current times, this doesn't always happen. Sometimes it does happen where things get mixed up. Again, same reasons. Either the knowledge is not perfect, or somebody starts a wrong tradition, and to justify, they may write books that have those errors. So now they're saying even those don't last too long, because then somebody else will write the correct books and refute those wrong traditions. Sort of like what Kanji Swami has done. He brought back people towards the soul, towards the authentic knowledge that one should know. Then again, he says, it still falls upon ourselves to understand the correct knowledge so we can decipher between the right and the wrong books. And that is the reason why we are learning all these things. So once we understand the basics, if let's say some inaccurate book comes in our hand, we will be able to know where the problem is. Okay. Okay. Now, Shastra's worth reading and listening. Okay. Somebody else wants to start?
Yeah, I can go.
Go ahead.
Shastras worth reading and listening. Only those Shastras which illuminate the right path of liberation are worth reading and listening. In this world, all living beings are suffering from innumerable kinds of miseries. If, through the light of Shastras, they attain the right path of liberation, then by trading on the path, they themselves can be free from those miseries. And that liberation path is nothing but a passionless disposition. It is therefore desirable to read and listen to only those Shastras in which the sole purpose of passionlessness has been discoursed by judicially contradicting delusion, attachment, aversion, etc. And all those Shastras wherein the purpose of cultivating attachment feeling by cherishing voluptuousness, merriment, etc., aversion feeling by fostering violent activities, wars, etc., and the perverted belief by nourishing the faith in false elements has been advocated are not the Shastras but weapons. Because attachment, aversion, etc., fallacious feeling on account of which the jiva has suffered from miseries from eternity. The tendency of those instincts and feelings was already existing in him even without imparting any training. And if through these Shastras the same instincts and feelings are fostered, then what has been preached for the well being of Jiva, on the contrary, it may amount to destruction of the very nature of soul. Therefore, reading and listening to Shastras is not desirable.
Okay. So we understand that. So anything, in case you didn't understand some of these words, voluptuousness, merriment, and all that, basically they're talking about, in Hindi, they're called Shringar Bhog Kutuhiladi. Like, basically what you see in these Instagram reels. In the old days, people used to read romantic novels, movies that are giving all kinds of mixed rag provoking thoughts, basically. So they're saying, Shastras cannot have those things in them. And instead of Shastra, in Hindi, they call it Shastra. They're similar words, but of course, in English, they have to translate it to weapons. And they're saying that because of those attachments, aversions, those are the reasons we have been eternally in this world. So, what good is it to keep indulging in those kind of knowledge or books or whatever, right? And you will be again inculcating the same instincts, feelings, which will not take you anywhere, basically keep you in this circle of life and death and good and bad, and go back to Nigodh, come back, go to heaven, hell, human form, which will be very rare when you can actually do yourself some good. So, therefore, reading of and listening to such shastras is not desirable. Because we have gotten this valuable, very limited time of this human life. So, best is to use it wisely in what we really need. I mean, the whole purpose, honestly, of human birth is to progress your soul towards moksha, because this is the best place to do that. Anywhere else is much more difficult. Of course, you can do it in animal form too, but only if you have heard it before in the human form and have that sanskar. Then, yes, even if you're in the animal form, you will be able to attain samyak darshan. So it's important to understand the severity of it, how we spend our time, how we allocate our time, where we allocate our time. And we all know the time is limited. We came with our expiry date. We were born with our expiry date. It's just that we don't know when it is. So, which type of shastras to, involve ourselves in. So, very nice explanation. Okay. You can read, I guess, one more topic, the Vakta ka Swarup. How should
Yeah, I'll just finish a couple lines which are there. As has been stated about reading and listening, similarly, one should know about composition, learning, teaching, thinking, writing, etc. by inference. Thus, only those shastras which promote growth of passionlessness, either directly or traditionally, are only worth studying. Traits of the discourser. Now, the traits of a true discourser are being described. He must be firm in Jain faith, for if he himself is a misbeliever, how can he make others true believer? Thus, listeners by themselves possess less intellect. How would he make them true believers through some logic? And the right belief only is the basis of all religion. 2. He should have developed the ability to deliver discourses on Shastras through the study of scriptures, because without attaining such ability, how can he be eligible for preaching? 3. Through the right knowledge, he should be able to discriminate the gist of all sorts of empirical, vyavhar and real, nishchay, etc. forms of exposition. For if this is to be not there, then if there be some description with some different purpose, there he might draw some other meaning, and because instrumental is wrong and become instrumental in wrong conduct. Number 4, he should be very fearful of going against the omniscient commandment, because if this is be not so, then bearing some purpose in mind, he may preach again the sutras, scripture, and create miseries for jivas. So is stated below. Bahuguna Ravi Yanariyalo Asudha Bhasi Thavi Mutavo Jeha Varamanari Juto Vihu Vigyoro
Vigayaro
Visaru
Visero Lohiya.
Lohi. The one who possesses many virtues like forbearance, modesty, etc., and has knowledge of grammar, etc., but is a perverse discourser, wrong interpreter, he is worth discarding. For instance, a snake, though possessing costliest jewel, yet it is only a source of trouble in the world. He must not have any desire of accomplishing the temporal acts like earning livelihood, etc., by means of giving discourse on Shastras. For if he has expectation, then he cannot preach the truth correctly. He simply makes it a source of accomplishing his objective by giving lectures according to the desire of some listeners. Moreover, the preacher's rank is higher than that of listeners. But if the preacher be greedy, then the preacher will himself become inferior and the listeners will become superior. He should not have intense anger and pride because the highly passionate, angry, and haughty person will be criticized. The listeners will be fearful of him. Then how would they be benefited by him? Number 7, he should himself raise different questions and provide answers, or if other people raise questions many times in different ways, then through soft, sweet words, he should clarify in such a way that their doubt is removed. In case he himself does not have the capacity to answer rightly, then he should say that he himself lacks knowledge of it. For if this be not so, the doubt of the listeners will not be removed. How will then there be good of them? And the glorification of the Jain faith will also not be possible. Number 8, he should not indulge in any immoral and public censurable activities, for he would become a place of laughter due to the indulgence in publicly censurable deeds. Who would then trust his words? He will bring bad name to Jain faith. Number 9, he should not be of low caste, not be a crippled fellow, not have hoarse voice, be a sweet tongue, should be influential so that he may be acceptable to people. For if it be not so, then the orator's greatness will not be reflected in him. The above qualities are essential in discourses. The same is stated in
Atmanushasan.
Atmanushashan.
Ooh, I'm not sure about the last 9th
I
one.
know.
Yeah, crippled fellow and all that. I don't understand.
We had a discussion about that in the Hindi class also.
Well, that is discriminating itself. Like,
It is.
I
It
can
is.
understand an orator has to be great,
Again,
but
like I said, I cannot go against his words. I had doubts myself. But one time I said this in the same Hindi class also. In one of Bharilji's lectures, I had heard that, let's say the orator is deformed, really weird looking. He will draw the people's attention towards his appearance instead of what he's speaking. So that is one reason that they should kind of look decent. So looks, okay, fine, I understood. But the caste or whatever, that something else that I kind of still don't get it, the low caste business. I mean, I can understand the cripple, the hoarse voice, be of sweet tongue, but the low caste, I don't understand because, Gautam Gandhar was a Brahmin who came, he was not a Jain, born Jain, right? Even today, there are people from different castes that take Diksha in the Jain congregation. So that I'm still questioning. I'll have to find out.
yeah,
But
I
again,
think this one just reflects the time in which
I think it
it
was
would be,
it was
different
yes,
written.
time.
it would be just,
So it doesn't
Yeah.
reflect the
those
current
times,
times.
though
Basically,
low
that's what it
caste
is.
had a meaning, and I think that's what it is.
Well, yeah, people leave that kind of
Exactly.
understanding then, I guess.
Right. So the caste came with a set of thinking, believing, style of living, and maybe that's why it's said. Kind of, we have to presume that. Yes.
Okay.
And then he has given the reference of which Shastra he got it from. Atmanushasana is another Shastra. So we cannot blame Todarmalji for it. So, and all the other points he has given very nice points. And you have a benefit that in the Hindi book, it's not as clearly mentioned. It's all in a paragraph form. In the English, whoever translated this has put it, given those numbers, which is very helpful. So,
the one who is brilliant has grasped the gist of all Shastras, is graceful in public life, desire-free, lustrous, dispassionate, and one who knows the answer even before the question is raised, should have great forbearance for facing several questions, be influential, could win the hearts of others because of being free from the criticism of others as well as of their own of his own by others. Be store of virtues and whose words are clear and sweet. Such a leader of congregation should deliver the discourses. Further, the special characteristics of a discourser is such that if he knows grammar, logic, etc., and possesses deep knowledge of voluminous Jain Shastras, then his oration will be more glorious. Moreover, in spite of all these qualities, if he has not acquired self-realization through spiritual test, then he is not likely to know the spirit essence of Jina Dharma, omniscient religions. He is a discourser merely traditionally. How can he explain the characteristics of the true Jina Dharma, which is full of spiritual test? Therefore, if he be an enlightened self, Atmagyani, then only he is a true preacher. In Pravachanasar, all it is stated that Agamagyan, knowledge of scriptures, Tatvartha,
Shraddhan,
Shraddhan, faith of Jiva, Ajiva, etc., essential principles, Sanyama
Sanyam Bhav,
Bhava, continence, these three, if are devoid of self-knowledge, Atmagyan, they are ineffective. Further, in Doha Pahuda, it is stated that Pandya, 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 Karmachori, Vitus Kandiya. Pya Atham Tuthisi Parma Parmat na
Paramattana Janai Muttoi. See.
Janai Muthosi. O Pandey, Pandey, O Pandey, O Pandey, you are leaving the grain thrashing the husk only. You are satisfied in words and their literal meanings, but do not know the reality. Therefore, you are assuredly a fool. Moreover, in 14 types of learning, the metaphysics, spiritual science, is described as to be the supreme of all. Therefore, the discourser who is fond of the taste of spiritual science should be known as a discourser of the mystery of Jinadharma. Further, the discourser who possesses extraordinary intellectual power and are all possessed by clairvoyance, telepathy, omniscience are to be known as the great preachers. Such should be the distinctive traits of the discourser. So if one gets the association of a discourser possessing these distinctive traits, it is highly beneficial, and if not obtained, then one ought to listen the Shastras from the mouth of those discoursers only who possess qualities of right belief, etc. It is desirable to listen to the Shastras from the mouth of Munis, monks, and Shravakas, householders, possessing such characteristics, and it is not worth listening the Shastras customarily or with the greed of listening the Shastras from the mouth of sinful persons who are not possessed of the right belief, etc. Traits. Also, it is said that the only one who is attentive in obeying the omniscience commandments, it is worthwhile for him to listen to the sermons from the mouth of Granth, naked without possessions, true preceptor monk, or should listen to religious discourses from the proper true believer, Shravak householder, who interprets the sermons of the true preceptor only. Only such discourser who preaches with a religious attitude can do good of the self and of other jivas. capable souls also, and one who preaches with passion, attitude, harms himself as well as others.
Okay. So far we learned about me. Next class we'll learn about you. So, so I fall in the lowest category, right? Ideally, we should listen from who? Arihants in the Samavsaran. Then from the Samyak Drashti, the Gambar Sadhus. If you cannot hear from them, then Samyak Drashti Shravaks. And very intelligent. And if none of that available, then you fall into poor people like me who you have to hear from. So, so now we understand what the Bhakta ka Swarup should be, right? So it's really well written. But next, actually, let's discuss after I conclude how when we conduct the next class. But yeah, and this book is really worth reading again and again. It's so simply written that it's relatively easy read, and but a lot of good material in it. So, so we understood the gist of what the orator should be like. Of course, they should not have any self-motive to be famous, to earn a living out of it. Uh, because of that, most preachers are not doing it for a livelihood. Sometimes in these days, they may be, but still they have to be very qualified to teach. And then they said all these other things about the preacher, because everybody still has Shayopsham Buddhi, right? So they could be wrong or not know, in which case at least they should accept that yes, they don't know, rather than argue on a wrong point. So those are some of the major takeaways. And so first of all, we are developing our own knowledge so we can be, remember that they said you should be able to, Pariksha Pradhani, you should be able to do it, your own test, whether the Shastra is good, whether the teacher is good, what you're reading is authentic. That's why you're learning all this in this course. So going forward, you are capable of discriminating between the good and the bad, the right and the wrong. And when you hear, let's say somebody comes to your town, most of you may already be able to tell that this orator doesn't jive with me, or what he's saying is not falling in the right, whatever. But after reading this, you will even more be able to tell. Are they taking you towards rag? Are they taking you towards vitragta? So many points we understood with this. Okay. All right. So let's complete. सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप सहजानंदी शुद्ध स्वरूपी अविनाशी हूँ आत्म स्वरूप निज निधि निज में बताई यह अनंत उपकार है इसके लिए जिन वाणी माँ को वंदना शत बार है वंदना शत बार। जय जिनेन्द्र सभी को।